up lads, welcome back to the channel for yet another video. And today I thought I would mix things up a bit and give something back to you guys. And show you guys some mods that you probably don't have or have never even heard of, because within Assetto Corsa there is a lot of content to be gathered. So if you're new here, or you're new to sim racing, or you're just new to Assetto Corsa modding in general, then I shall give you some explanation. So on this channel I feature heavily Assetto Corsa. Not Assetto Corsa Competizione, Assetto Corsa, the OG AC. Now this game on its own, very cheap, because it's quite an old game now, at least when it's on offer. You can pick it up for around £8 when it goes on sale. But with Assetto Corsa you get a lot of content as standard, which is really good if you're a new person to sim racing, and Assetto Corsa for that matter, so you have a lot to play with and basically learn the ropes very quickly. Now this game came out in 2014, and the reason why it's lasted so long is because this game, it has the capability and support for mod making. Now mods that you add to the game can vary very heavily in terms of quality. There are some mods where you'd think a 6-year-old has made this, and then there are entire studios that are dedicated to mod making. Which is why today we're going to be covering my top 10 favourite mods in Assetto Corsa. Now I should be very clear that these are my personal favourite mods. These are the ones that I can't live without, and these are the ones that I personally feel that I need the most. And these mods cover a wide variety of different sectors basically, from cars to tracks to apps to weather functions. If you would like to see a top 10 of like my favourite cars in Assetto Corsa or my top 10 favourite tracks, then I'll make separate videos for those, but please do let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. So just before we begin, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button with the notification bell if you want to see more content like this. And while you're here, why not check out the lovely sponsors over there on the left hand side of the screen. Right, let's jump right into it. Starting off with number 10. At number 10 we have Content Manager itself. This is a fairly basic one, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, this is a pretty obvious one. But if you're new here, then you probably won't know what this all is. Now Content Manager is basically a community made Assetto Corsa launcher, or UI to be a bit more precise. Basically the standard UI that you get in stock Assetto Corsa is really bad, and it's a bit outdated and it's very clunky, whereas Content Manager comes along and just basically cleans up everything, makes everything nice and simple, and allows for the installation of mods to be very simple as well, where sometimes you can just download a mod from a website, drag and drop it into Content Manager, and there you go, you are done. Everything is neatly laid out and very clear and concise, and I believe that Content Manager is an essential mod for you to own. Now there are two versions of this. There is the free version and the paid version, but honestly go for the paid version, because then that allows you to have custom shaders patch, which updates the graphics for the game. So please, if you're going to get Content Manager, go for the paid version. Up next at number 9 is Race Essentials. Now Race Essentials is basically your in-game HUD with all of the information that you're going to need for when you're racing. Now this is a very serious bit of kit, and if it looks confusing to you right now, do not worry, I'm going to go over it right now. So it starts off very simple. Over on the left you've got your gears, and below that you've got your speedo. Then just to the right of that you've got your RPM. Below that you've got your boost, which measures how much boost your turbo is kicking out. And then below that, this one probably won't get used as often as you might think, unless you like driving modern Formula 1 cars. That is your KERS system, which basically shows you how much battery you've got left in your KERS system. Just to the right of that you've got your lap timings and your, well, basically everything that you need. So the big number at the top obviously is your current lap that you're on. The one with the L is your last lap, your B is your best lap, and your P is your personal best, like of all time. It has all of the information for your lap times right there. And you may have noticed that there's a little temperature gauge. That's basically the air and track temperature. Now this is where it can start getting a little bit more complicated for newcomers, but don't worry, we're going to go through it. Just to the right of that is your tires. Now you'll see some green bars right next to those numbers. That is the life of your tire. So there are 4 green bars for 4 tires. Now the numbers at the top of each tire is the percentage life of your tire. So if that's at 100%, that means it's got full grip, and obviously the lower that number is, the less grip you're going to have. The numbers just below that one are the tire temperatures, and then the number below that one is the tire pressures. Now all of these numbers change color depending on what is happening to the tire. If it's blue, that means it's under pressured or under temperature. If it's green, that means it's optimal, it's perfect, and if it's red, it's obviously too hot and overpressured. Now to the right of that, very simple, it is your lap relative, so that basically tells you when you're on a lap if you're going quicker or slower, and just below that is your positions in laps. I'm fairly sure that I don't need to explain that. Over to the right of that is your pedal inputs. This tells you what your pedal inputs are, so your braking, your clutch, and your acceleration. And there's a little grey bar there for the fourth one. That's to measure how much force feedback your wheel is kicking out. And then finally on the right is your fuel and optimum tire pressures. So all the numbers on the right, I'm going to go through them with you. So the top one is how many litres your car has. The second one down is how many litres per lap you're using. The third one is telling you how many laps of fuel you have left. The fourth one is to tell you how much fuel you're going to need to finish the race. If you are in an endurance race in Assetto Corsa, that is pretty essential. And finally, the last piece is underneath. The one that says track basically tells you how much grip the track itself has, and the one below that is telling you what the optimum tire pressures you need to aim for are. And that is my overview of Race Essentials. I'm pretty sure at this point it's fairly self-explanatory why I have this app. It is a must-have if you're going to be doing some very precise sim racing, and I can't live without it. So download this when you can. Up next at number 8 we have the Race Sim Studio GT Pack. Now it should be said that Race Sim Studio are the absolute kings of Assetto Corsa mod making. RSS are a very dedicated studio into making good mods for Assetto Corsa, and there is no better mods to be made than by Race Sim Studio. Now this is a paid mod, it should be said, but it is very much worth it. In this pack you get 6 cars, all complete with excellent physics, brilliant texture quality, and ear-melting car sounds. While we don't have GT1 in IRL racing anymore, which is a crying shame because these are some of the prettiest race cars ever made, it is nice to know that Race Sim Studio do remember the good old days of GT1 and have thus made this brilliant pack. Now with this mod, they've actually made it so it requires quite a bit of skill to drive these cars. You can't just go into a corner and put your foot down like you can in a GT3 car. No, you have to be careful. These are very raw, simple cars, and they're excellent and a must-have for Assetto Corsa. Up next at number 7 we have yet another Race Sim Studio mod, and that is the Formula Hybrid 2021 mod from Race Sim Studio. This is another paid mod but for a Formula 1 car, and it is quite literally one of the most perfect mods ever made. Some say this is as close as you can truly get to driving a real Formula 1 car. And whenever you see a Formula 1 demo for a new track being demonstrated by the official F1, it's always with this car in Assetto Corsa. It's never with the official Formula 1 game, which does go to show you how good this mod is. Up next at number 6 we have a racetrack. Now this racetrack doesn't exist in real life, and I have covered this on the channel before because I absolutely love the heart and passion that has gone into making this mod, and that is Goria Thun by 00. This is one of the greatest fantasy racetracks ever made. Now, I am fully aware that there is going to be some knuckle draggers in the comment section saying, "Oh, I only want real racetracks." But trust me, if you are in that mindset, then you are really missing out on some excellent content here. Me and my friends have raced on this racetrack a few times, and every single time we always come back saying, why do we not race on this more often? But if your heart can allow it, then I strongly advise you download this racetrack, get racing on it, and have a lot of fun, because it has everything that anybody could want from a racetrack. Moving on to number 5, we have something called the NX Legends Ford 34 Coupe. Now, if you don't know, this is the racing series that I want to actually get into real life if my sim racing channel takes off. Basically what they are is that they are 1930s Ford hot rod shells with motorbike engines, I think they are. Sequential gearbox, 150 brake horsepower, and they weigh just over half a ton. Now these cars in real life and in sim produce some of the greatest forms of racing I have ever seen. Forget Formula 1, forget touring car, forget IndyCar, forget GT3. This is the most fun race sport I have ever seen, both for the race driver and the spectator. So if you've never seen a Ford Legends Cup, I would highly advise you pause this video, go and watch some highlight reels of the Ford Legends Cup, and then come back, and then you will understand why this mod is so high up on this list. A lot of the steering with this car is done with your right foot, and the car itself just feels absolutely fantastic to drive. I have been told that this is a very accurate mod to how it feels in real life. So download this mod, gather your friends, and just go and have fun. Fun. This mod is fun. Have I mentioned how fun this mod is? At number 4, we have the race circuit Targa Florio. Now, don't be fooled by its pretty looks and typical Sicilian setting, because this is one of the toughest racetracks ever. And yes, this is a real racetrack. Targa Florio was raced on in the 1970s and is over 72 kilometers long. If you were to take a Formula 1 car or a prototype car, it would take you the best part of half an hour to complete one lap. Whereas in much slower cars like a simple road car, you're looking at completing it in just under an hour. It is vast. It is a massive challenge. It is winding Italian roads at their finest. And at the moment, this mod is free, but I don't know how long that's going to last, so grab it while you can. It is a pretty big download, but I can highly recommend that you get this mod. Alright, we're in the top 3. Here we go. Number 3, we have the Revenga R13 from Virtual Racing Cars, or VRC to be more simple. Choosing just one of these cars from VRC was no easy task, because VRC, like RSS, are another studio that make extremely high quality mods for Assetto Corsa. But my absolute favourite is the Revenga R13. It is so beautiful to drive. There's not much I can really say about this mod other than it is beautifully textured, it looks beautiful, it sounds fantastic, and it goes like hell. Now, once again, this is another paid mod, but it is only €4, so go and get it. Our runner-up for today's top 10 at number 2, we're moving all the way over to Australia with a V8 Supercar Pack from V8 Corsa. Now, this mod is extremely high quality, and you will be very surprised to find out that this is a free mod, and it comes with 5 cars. So it comes with 2 Fords and 2 Holdens, so whichever side you pick. I know there's a big war zone in Australia over Ford and Holden, but whichever side you're on, all of the cars should satisfy you. And as a little bit of a devil's advocate, they've even thrown in there the Nissan Altima V8 Supercar. Now, if you're new to sim racing, I'm going to say right away, these cars are not for the faint of heart. There is no assists with these cars. There's no ABS, there's no traction control. It's just a lot of power, not that much downforce, and the squishy, meaty thing, that being you, in the middle. I recently did a community race with these cars, and we had such a good time that we are going to be coming back to these. And not to mention, with the cars, you can also download the official liveries of each car from the In Real Life racing series. Right, before we go into our number 1 pick, I just want to lift off some honourable mentions. The Aston Martin DBR9 from Legion, excellent mod, it's got a screaming V12, and you could easily run this car alongside the RSS GT pack that I mentioned in the list. The Saxon Ring from Gunner Treble 3, this is an excellent mod, it's very detailed, and the track itself is a lot of fun to drive with a lot of elevation change and swooping corners. Download this one if you can. The Macau Grand Prix race circuit from Reboot Team. Now, I initially was going to put this racetrack on my top 10 list, but it is so unfriendly to newcomers, I couldn't really put this one on here. It is my favourite racetrack of all time, but this racetrack is just so difficult that not everybody would enjoy it, so that's why it is on my honourable mentions. To give you the skinny, this is where that horrible crash happened a few years ago. It's so narrow, it's tight, it's twisty, and it does not allow any room for error. And finally, on my honourable mentions are the Ginetta cars from Sean Clark. Now, unfortunately, Sean Clark is someone we lost very recently, and it is extremely sad that we have lost one of the most talented mod makers for Assetto Corsa. But how we remember him is him making some of the greatest sim racing content, and these Ginettas that I'm showing right here are my absolute favourites. I would also like to recommend that you go and check out Sean Clark's other works, because they are also very highly detailed, extremely good mods. And I should also mention that all of the mods mentioned in this video will be linked down in the description. Right, let's move on to number 1. So, my absolute favourite mod in all of Assetto Corsa is the Formula Mad. This mod, in my opinion, is the greatest mod to ever come out in Assetto Corsa. It is so vastly different from anything else that you can download for Assetto Corsa. Basically, it's a Formula student car. Or to put it as simply as possible, it is an infant Formula 1 car. Now, one of the reasons why I think this is the greatest mod to ever happen in Assetto Corsa is because the people who make this mod also run the in real life Formula Student racing team. So this car is as accurate as you can possibly get. It is extraordinarily good fun. I've hosted at least 3 community races with this car, and every time it comes up with something different of just how much fun you can have with this car. We even took the Evo version of this car around Monaco and actually found out that with this car you can properly race around Monaco. Overtakes actually happen. Now in this mod you get 2 cars. You've got the regular car and then you've got the Evo car. The regular car has 69 brake horsepower. Nice. And the Evo car has 120 brake horsepower. And when you first drive this car, you're going to be surprised at how little steering you have to do in order to turn this thing, because it corners like a housefly. And the best part about this mod is that it is free. So get this mod, I beg you. Try it out. Have some fun with it. And not to mention that the people over at Formula Mad have even given me my own livery, so you guys can race with the good old Coyote Racing livery. Anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and hopefully I've given you guys some incentive to go and try out some new things. Maybe you guys have found something new. Maybe you're new to Assetto Corsa modding and you're just getting into it, and these are the perfect mods to start out with. If you have enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button with the notification bell. And while you're here, why not go and check out my lovely sponsors over there on the left hand side of the screen. Those guys provide for me all of the gear that I use and the sim racing merch that you guys can buy. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next race. Have a good night everybody.